Welcome, everyone. Y'all, wicked pissa, says Elizabeth. Y'all make me feel better. I'm telling you. This is one hell of a community. All right. We're going to talk about just one topic, and it's sort of legal-ish. It obviously has First Amendment implications. It has Trump abuse written all over it. Um, but tonight we're going to talk about how we can wield our economic power right now. Right now, 11:30 tonight, we're going to begin wielding some more economic power. And this obviously has to do with Jimmy Kimmel. It has to do with Disney and ABC first, bending the knee to Donald Trump and his flunky FCC commissioner, where, they think they're like play mobsters. We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way. You all are a bunch of clowns. You're weak, sniveling, dirty little clowns with apologies to dirty clowns. But ABC and Disney first bent the knee. Why? Because they have to make all decisions based on their profit margin, I guess. I wish more companies and corporations and universities and news outlets and law firms and I wish they would realize that if they made pro-democracy decisions, they would win and they would end up better in the long run, including their bottom lines, their profit margins, if they made pro-democracy decisions. But some of them, I guess, say democracy be damned. I need to make sure I can make the most money I can make. Very short-sighted and unpatriotic, in my opinion. But Disney and ABC made an original decision based on their profit margin, and they kicked Kimmel off. But guess what? I think we, the people, had as much influence over changing their minds as anybody because Disney took a hit to the tune of what, $4 billion overnight. I may be taking liberties with what the market did to them, but it was the economic consequences of them bending a knee to dear leader that I believe caused them to make a different decision, to change course and to say, Kimmel's back on. You could have stayed strong in the first place and weakened Donald Trump rather than strengthened him. But the good news, friends, is with Disney now making and ABC now making a different business decision, they are weakening Donald Trump because they're making it clear that we're not so afraid of dear leader that we will stick, that we will bend the knee to him at all cost. Now, if we can make a couple of more bucks by defying him, we'll change our minds and defy him. That weakens Trump. That's a good thing. And, if everybody just stood up to the bully, we'd end up kicking the bully's ass, figuratively speaking, right? When law firms fight, they win. When colleges and universities fight, they win. Be a Harvard or a George Mason, don't be a Columbia. When news organizations fight, they win. Be a New York Times and Wall Street Journal. Don't be a Washington Post and LA Times. When, this is the one that I love. When Guatemalan children, unaccompanied minors, fight Donald Trump in court, they win. My gosh, if they can fight, we can fight, right? But Disney and ABC decided to make a decision based on their bottom line, not on their patriotism, not on their love of democracy. But now they've made a different decision. So we got the announcement, I think today, all the days run together, that Jimmy Kimmel will be back on. But then shortly thereafter, what did we hear? These dirty broadcasting companies, I shouldn't call them dirty, I guess, but they're certainly not patriotic. They don't give a rat's ass about the health and viability of our democracy. Sinclair and Nexstar, which apparently operates, controls, keeps under their thumb a whole bunch of ABC affiliate stations. So they said, oh, no, we're still going to keep Kimmel off because he said insensitive things. That's not why they're keeping him off. They're keeping him off to please dear leader. right? So now um, some folks will get to see Kimmel, I guess, on the ABC affiliates that are not controlled by Sinclair and Nexstar. Others won't. I believe here in the Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia area, it's Sinclair controlled. So I suspect we will not be seeing Kimmel at 11:30 at night. I'm going to try to find it somewhere online. I'm hoping that I can access it online. But even more importantly, um, boy, all of this gives me a headache. You know that? And I was going to take a Tylenol, but somebody told me that Tylenol is dangerous. So, and I saw the bet. What a babbling idiot he was and has been for the last many years, but particularly over the last few hours, including at the United Nations, just mind-boggling. But somebody put up a great meme, and it said, "If you think Tylenol hurts children, you ought to see what guns do to them." Boy, that's a powerful meme. So here's the plan, friends, and I hope you will join me in this plan. This is my third grader's approach to economic pressure. This is the best I could come up with because I'm going to tell you, I don't know how big TV conglomerates and broadcasting companies work. I know very little about that. I spent 30 years in courtrooms prosecuting folks for the crimes they were suspected and indicted for committing. I don't know how all this ABC and Disney, and I don't know how all that works. But here's what I do know. At 11:30 tonight, I'm going to turn on ABC and I'll turn on my local, it's channel 9 or channel 7, I forget. And I'm going to see what airs. And if my local ABC station, as I suspect, will not put Jimmy Kimmel Live on and put some substitute programming on, I will stay up as late as it takes. And man, 11:30 is ordinarily past my bedtime. I'm old. And I am going to make a note of every single commercial that runs on the substitute programming. If they refuse to put Kimmel on, I will make a note of every commercial from the first to the last, and I will boycott every single product and every single advertiser that runs commercials on the substitute programming, which will be feeding the monster. Those commercials running on substitute programming, which is a direct attack on our First Amendment free speech rights, Jimmy Kimmel's as much as anybody's. And I will boycott. I will not spend $1 on any product that runs a commercial on the substitute programming tonight. And I will put a list out tomorrow morning on Substack and elsewhere of all the commercials that I saw run on substitute programming. But if my local affiliate, for whatever reason, maybe Bucks Sinclair, not likely, and they show Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight, and I really want to see him because he's got Governor Newsom on, I think, as one of his guests, then I will also document every single commercial that runs on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight, and I will support every single product and every advertiser that chooses to run commercials on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Can you imagine if everybody did that? Do you know the economic power we would have? I think I told you the other night, a couple of nights ago, that my wife, my better three quarters, canceled Hulu, canceled everything she could cancel that was affiliated with Disney or ABC as best she could. And lots of people did that. And I think that's part of the reason Disney and ABC changed course, reinstated Kimmel. But if we collectively put our economic power together, oh my gosh, what power we would have. So if any of this resonates with any of you all, I would invite you to watch your local ABC affiliate and see what happens at 11:30 or 11:35 tonight and consider doing the same. supporting commercials and products and advertisers that run on Kimmel, and boycott those that run on substitute programming that's not Kimmel at 11:30 on ABC. And then I want to regroup tomorrow. And, I'm sure we'll have more fresh hell on the legal front to discuss tomorrow night. But I would love to circle back tomorrow and hear from you all. You can drop me messages. Um, in fact, what I'll do tomorrow morning, I'll try to post that running list of the commercials that were run. And then maybe you can hit a reply to that and tell me what your experience was in your local market, what your local ABC affiliate did tonight. And then we can regroup and come back for tomorrow night's community meeting and see where we are. And, the other thing I would suggest, if you think this is a good idea, again, this to me feels like a third grade approach to wielding economic power. Easy, right? And hopefully effective, but certainly easy to do. Um, and then if you think this sounds like a good idea, we still have, 3, 4 hours before 11:30 Eastern time hits. Um, blast it out on your social media platforms, whatever platform you're on. And actually, I posted this on Instagram, on Twitter, on not Twitter, whatever they call it. I'm calling it Twitter. I don't care. Blue Sky, obviously here on Substack. So just blast it out everywhere. Say, hey, can I invite everybody reading this post to turn on your ABC station at 11:30? And, if Kimmel airs, then just make a note of all of the products that are advertised that bought commercial time and that is supporting Jimmy Kimmel Live. And if you don't see Jimmy Kimmel, if they refuse to play him at 11:30, they put some substitute programming on. Similarly, take a note of all of the advertisers that run commercials so we can boycott them. Man, we would wield a lot of economic power if we could all get together and do this. So that's really all I wanted to talk about this evening. Let me scroll up because the comments have not been scrolling for me, and I know you've been populating them. I can't even get to the end of them. Community in action. That's what MB says. Marie says, will do. Kimberly says, great idea. We're in Dallas, owned by Tegna for the time being. So hopefully Tegna is playing ABC and not preempting Jimmy Kimmel. Chicago. Okay, everybody's weighing in. Great, 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 great. Man, y'all, this is why I love this community. All right, people are saying we're going to blast this out. All right. Thank you, everybody. I don't want to sit here and make you watch me read all the comments, but all right. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night and try to stay awake until 11:30, or you can turn on your VCR. Nobody has a VCR anymore. I guess you can't really. Can we record things? I think sometimes some of your cable services you can press some kind of a record button. I don't think I can do that. Even if I had the feature, I don't think I could do it. If you watch, if you watch my Justice Matters video tonight, I think when I'm talking and I say change the channel, I went like this, which you don't really change the channel on the TV like that anymore, do you? If you were like me when I was growing up, there were two things that we always had in my house. One, we had a pair of vice grips that were on the little piece of metal that stuck out where the plastic TV channel turner had broken. So we had vice grips, and you would change the channel by turning the vice grips. And we also had a very early remote control in the 60s and the early 70s in my house. It was kind of a prototype. It was me, because my old man would say, hey, turn the channel, turn on NBC or turn on ABC or turn on CBS. And I would get up and I would grab the vice grips and I would turn the channel. Yeah, I was the remote control. I'm sure that is an experience that is common to lots of us here, right? Okay, everybody, enough of my joke time, right? Thanks for jumping on with me. I will see you all tomorrow night. We will regroup and we'll see what happened 11:30 tonight, and we will wield that economic power. Have a good night, friends.